Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Supreme Alert 2020 as Japan. Last time was not really much to do other than having a lot of building projects, all sorts of new railways, new businesses, and still trying to deal with the economy, unemployment, and of course the inflation rate, which is right now still at the moment negative 1.4. But the GDP is going up, and hopefully in the long run, the inflation rate will go into the positive. At least that's what I'm hoping. Also, slowly but surely, we are, at least automatically, repurchasing several bonds. Most of which I would like to repurchase now, but with the treasury going down, it's something I'd rather not touch at all, and just focus what we can. So it's possible for this episode that there may be nothing to do since the economy is quite fragile if I go to war with anybody or get attacked by any other nation. As for targets of opportunity, should that time arrive anyway, well, minor nations would be minor, quote unquote, if you want to call them. Taiwan, I'm pretty sure is going to be rather difficult, even if we have the entire navy attacking the port right over here. And of course, domestic prices are always a problem. But let's say we actually take this and then focus all we can towards Taipei itself, and hopefully be able to conquer Taiwan. The Philippines, well, it kind of depends. Perhaps focusing on landing somewhere. Perhaps do the same thing that the AI for Japan always seems to do, which is land on one of these small islands, occupy it, and perhaps try to land somewhere else and occupy somewhere. Where exactly, I'm not sure, as I don't see... Oh, there is a port, but it's all the way down here, whereas the capital of the Philippines is all the way up here. Well, that's fine, I suppose. And of course, we are still getting lots of research done, most of which have not been started yet, but we are finally getting the new bomber getting started. As for others, carbon dioxide reducers, software self-programming, alternate power generation, let's see, legalize controlled substances, and protection of free will. Now, speaking of technologies, what exactly do we have unlocked? We have a J09 and a J10 main battle tanks, and the Storm Hunter, which is pretty much what almost all countries would be able to unlock once you unlock the Metal Storm technology. Aircraft, not a whole lot. F2s, F3s, and such. Fighter bombers, interceptors, helicopters, AH-3 Kawasaki, Sea King, Blackhawks, and Rotor Storm, another type of military equipment that requires Metal Storm technology, Metal Storm weapon pods, and advanced helicopters. Now, as for ships, not really much in terms of ships. We do have a few carriers, including the two default kind of carriers that will be available for most countries. The VTOL type, the large fleet, and Japan's own homegrown carrier, the Sakura. Also the LHAJ Soryu. Submarines is not really much. Missile designs, well, we do have a few we could research, but it's probably best to focus on the other missiles that have been delayed for too long now. In the meantime, we do still have a lot of problems when it comes to domestically. Uranium consumer goods, that's no problem. Domestic prices are too high, I know. Inflation now negative 1.3, unemployment is still 8.8. But let's just reduce taxes just a bit. Just a bit by 1%. Social spending. We're gonna reduce it just a bit for a day to see what kind of results that might be. And perhaps even try to get the majority of the armies to be reserved. After all, we're at DEFCON 5, we're at peace. There's really no need for everybody to be deployed. Oh, right, forgot. I completely forgot. Lots of units here that I forgot to get a single transport in order to get there. But first, we still gotta deal with most of the ships that are all the way out in the Pacific and losing supplies. Now, this one could have got into that territory, but it didn't. Oh. Thank you, Mongolia. And who else? Indonesia as well. Well, that's surprising. Let's take a look at the elections. Only 39 days. We are still in the lead, but a bit too close to the Sovereignty Party. Green Party is 27%. Others, whatever type of parties, only 10%. Okay. Now, approval rating is going down, unfortunately. Let's get the social spending back. And taxes, let's see. Try to get these on 30%. And property tax, reduce that to just plainly 2%. Unemployment 2%. Unemployment is now actually down by 0.1%. Sales tax, reduce it just a bit. But that's kind of it for now. Meanwhile, this transport, still trying to resupply these ships, slowly but surely, and trying to get them home. Of course, there are still going to be a few headaches, even with new construction projects done. One of the barracks at the Pyongyang facility is done. That, and we have 4 research centers being built, since we're going to need a lot more in order to deal with any huge amount of research we need to do here. Actually, how long will be the okay, the bomber is not going to be done for another 4.2 years. Yeah, that's really gonna take a long time. Electrical power. That's way too high. Reduce that up. Reduce that again. Railroads are not being built yet, just very slowly. Even in areas that have, say, a few ports and barracks, it still will take some time in order to connect the Eastern Siberian lands. Oh, Arkansas requesting about 5.53 million tons of coal for about why not? We have plenty of coal anyway. Always could use a little bit of extra money in the treasury. Inflation still hasn't changed, since the change is going to be very slow and barely noticeable. Unless I'm desperate enough to get the GDP up by reducing taxes even further. But I'm not going to deal with that. Alright, speaking of elections. Inner Mongolia. 42 days. 42 days for Mongolia as well. Okay, they still have 14 days left for Taiwan. At least for Taiwan, at least. Military alerts move to DEFCON 2 to 3. Don't tell me they're going to declare war. Oh boy. The Philippines, 56 days. Technology rating to level 95, huh? Thank you, Estonia. Any amount of money would be greatly helpful. Thailand, Cambodia. Okay, a nice trade with Greater Malaysia. Or, yeah, it's Greater Malaysia in this case. As for other countries, not really you don't really see any actual elections. But, of course, I'm still going to be a bit jealous at seeing India and Saudi Arabia's massive treasury. Their GDP may be going down, but that's not going to mean anything with their treasury. As for the poorest, Cyprus and or I wouldn't say poor, I wouldn't say poor, it's just that they just don't have much in their treasury. But at any rate, at least we got one missile completed. One missile design, I should say. Okay, treasury is getting a bit too low. I'm gonna have to take the hit of reducing social spendings as best as I can by that much. Taxes go back up. And to double check that ship. There's the frigate there. Where is the... never mind. Domestic prices are too high. Approval rating is still going up, but the GDP is going down again. Anyway, let's get this transport over here, now that that other patrol ship has managed to return home. Do I have any other ships that are for some reason way out in the Pacific? No. Just this one frigate. Anyway, might as well take the hit for the social spending at the moment. GDP will hopefully go back up once we make some changes to the tax rate and social spending. But we're just gonna deal with it, just to get the economy up and get any of our building projects, or any repairs, I should say, and be completed eventually. But of course, that was a bit temporary, as the economy is still going downhill. No choice but to reduce social spending again. And let's see though. Who else is not exactly too rich, or rich, but are willing to trade? Nigeria. Biofuel, fuel cell, synthetic fuel plants, dark matter theories, I guess. No. Metal storm? No, I'm not giving that. Not sonar. I'll give them that. How much will they give me? Only that much. Okay, next, Ukraine. Give them those. Biofuel. Hydroponic plants. Synthetic fuel plants. And dark matter theories. How much will they give us? $4 billion. Remove that, and that gives us that amount. Removing that one will give us this. Yeah, we'll do. It'll do. Okay, Sovereignty Party's poll has dropped a little bit. Green Party, I really don't care. Okay, who else? South Africa. We'll give you these. I'll give you this and that. That'll give us only about $2.5 billion. Venezuela is next. Those give you these. That will give us about $4 billion and 300 million as well. Okay, Algeria. Okay. What? What? Afghanistan? We have no alliances here. We have no way to get through, so there's really no point of this damn war. Peace. Yep, war again, but by Afghanistan of all nations. India does not have a jurisdiction to go to war. Not even Bangladesh. Bhutan. Cambodia as well. Taiwan, we have good relations, but I'm more inclined for conquering Taiwan eventually. But first, gotta get everybody. Gotta get the DEFCON back to 5. And where is that? Ah, guess that ship managed to finally return. I hope. Let's see, 230 units have been deployed. Alright. Afghanistan. Yeah, we're not gonna have an embassy there. Pakistan? Maybe. But there are a lot of nations that probably would be willing to go to war. When and who would attack or attempt to declare war? That's dependable, I suppose. And the only other conflict is the war between Argentina and Brazil. Which it doesn't look like the front line has changed at all. Still got some projects that are almost done. Carbon dioxide reducers is almost done by about a day or two. Let's see, pollution levels will be reduced by 10%. Environmental rating, 10%. I mean, up by 10%. Which is okay, I guess. Research centers are not done yet. Oh. This one, obviously not. Who am I kidding? Actually, the one thing I would take the risk is reducing military spending. Particularly salary. Well, salaries, I'll keep it as it is, but just a slight reduction. Maintenance and training, just a tiny amount. Speaking of military, military production is as it is. Ship production, the battleship is almost done in another 191 days. Destroyers, submarines, transports, aircraft. Well, our air power is rather small, whereas our army and navy is a bit of a different story. And of course, we don't have a strategic bomber yet, considering how long this took. But hey, at least we get some new missiles to produce. Let's see. Where is the... there you are. Get those. Probably produce these and a few of those. I'm just producing a random number of missiles. Just for the hell of it. As for the army, lots of tanks, lots of... too many engineers, I should really say. Yeah, too many engineers. Okay, you know, I'm just gonna focus on building a lot of these type of units. And looks like I may have made a mistake of rapidly clicking that too fast, resulting in slight freezing. Double check the social spending. The people are not quite happy, of course, which is to be expected. I'm going to take the risk of reducing even further in terms of the amount of taxes and raise the social spending again. Might hurt a little bit in terms of the Treasury, GDP, and probably even the approval rating, but... oh. Never mind. Never mind. Alright, Switzerland. Biofuel. Nah. We'll just stick with this for about $3.3 billion or so. That'll give us a small boost in the Treasury. Alright, 9 more days until the election. But we're in the lead, so we'll obviously win. Except I just realized... didn't Taiwan get a... oh. Switzerland's regional government has been defeated. Including Taiwan's. Well... blah 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 blah, thank you, Ontario. But like I said, there's really no way to know what kind of government, or which party is even in power at the moment. I mean, for us, we can probably tell, as the messages kept showing. But for other nations, not exactly. Not quite, unfortunately. But anyway, it looks like reducing taxes has somewhat helped a little bit. Briefly. Domestic prices are, as always, too high for the petroleum, or any fuel for that matter. Doesn't help with demand being ridiculously massive. Stock is always going to keep rising. Production capacity, it's nothing going to be a problem. Of course, it would be nice to get some biofuels eventually, but these are rather expensive. But the maximum output is not as high as just drilling for regular oil. But it'll make do. We'll just have to try and drill a bit more in certain areas. And hopefully get some good stockpiles of oil. Wherever such stockpiles would be. Another one there. And double check. We have no synthetics, we have no biofuel, and like I said, with the economy being quite fragile, this is going to be a problem. Build time is not really that long. Almost the same as most of the oil fields, including the synthetic coal, minus the oil derricks. But I don't know. Maintenance cost is at least 249 million for synthetic. Biofuel is about 187 million. And well, synthetic is a bit more expensive to build initially. But I'll build only one biofuel, or two, or somewhere where there's a lot of agriculture. Build one in Ina. Okay, that's the center area. Let's try somewhere else. over on the island of Kyushu, not exactly quite amount of farms. And of course that did sort of take a chunk of the amount of money to build. So yeah, just one biofuel for now. But we are definitely going to be needing a lot of farms everywhere. So I'm just gonna build up a lot of farms in Kyushu. Here. Didn't really mean to have these being built, so cancel those. Whoops. Where else? Here. And this town would do. And as for up north in Hokkaido, not quite, since in winter it will get very cold, not to mention snowy. Oh. Today's elections, we reported as the results as soon as they are available. Independence Party, us, 33%. Green Party, 26.8%. Sovereignty Party, very close, sort of, 29.4%. Other Party, just 10%. Well, I guess I can safely say that our current government is the victor, after all. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna build a lot more farms. And yep, election victory. However, it was a closer election win than we had hoped. Well, I guess that pretty much would mean when it comes to the Sovereignty Party and the Green Party, since they were kinda close. But trying to maintain the approval rating is not going to be easy, not to mention when it comes to getting the economy as it is. Also, the unemployment's dropped. Inflation has also dropped a bit now. That's good. A new unit design, the Okoru 2 AS missile. I suppose we can start producing that. I think that's a naval launch? No. Air launch. Blah blah blah. Nope. No. No, it's an air launched missile. Alright. Gonna build a lot of these and just ignore that now. Well, the farms are being built. And hopefully we'll have enough food. Water, on the other hand. There's a great amount in Japan. Same could be said for other areas across the new empire. Okay, that spot's not bad, I guess. Siberia, not really. Other parts, not quite. We have these in Dawa and Daling. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Another missile finished. But I'm going to leave the 50 being built alone until those are done. Water reclamation, we only have one. Timber mill, only 2 being built. That won't do. We are going to need more. If it's possible to find good patch at least in order to get cut some trees. After all, we're gonna need trees. We're gonna need the trees for something. I'll leave that alone. And let's see what else we should do. Metal ore. No new mines. We have several patches here, so I'll build those. It's gonna hurt the economy, but hopefully with some projects done, it should balance out in the long run. At least I hope. But anyway, I'm going to stop here on April 20th at 2 AM. As I'm going to stop right here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and that Other than the one annoyance of Afghanistan attempting to declare war, really nothing much to do. We finally got those ships that were out in the Pacific home. But our economy is not really that great. And I think I'll do a time skip, so hopefully when we come back, the economy will be better. Some of the domestic problems will be dealt with, and hopefully we won't have to deal with a war. Unless, of course, we will have to deal with a war with somebody that might be literally next door. Our neighbor, basically. But hey, at least in the election, the current party for Japan has won. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this and see you again in the next episode after the time skip. So, see you then.